Everyone, I'm Ben with Robison Digital Media. I wanted to make a video and talk about the importance that your website plays in helping your customers along their journey or the customer experience that they have when they interact with your business. A lot of people, all businesses today, know that they need to have a website of some sort, that they need to have some sort of digital presence so that people can find them, find information about them. But most businesses don't know how to design a website that will effectively help their customers learn what they need to learn and take the action that they need to take so that they can purchase the products, purchase the services, do what it is that they need to do so that they can solve whatever problem it is that you solve for them. I wanted to start with this graphic that you see on screen right now, and then I'm going to show two different websites that have some good things that they're doing as well as a couple of things that they could probably do a little bit better. And the idea is to give you some ideas of how you can design your website and lay it out in a way that makes the most sense for your customers. So what you see here on my screen is an image that I created of what we would call above the fold content on a website. This is what you first see when a web page loads in your web browser. And there's a basic pattern that most websites today follow. And you can see that here. There are some gray arrows, and starting with that one on the top that goes from left to right, that is all three of those lines are the path that eyes take across a website. So most people start up in the top left-hand corner. That's where the company logo is. That's where the company name is. So they know that, hey, I'm definitely in the right spot. I'm where I want to be. Then they quickly scan to the right, and across there is where you will usually have a menu that has different links. And these are the most important links, typically the things that people are looking for most often. And so those are the things that they can find and get to where they want to go. But on the far right, what happens is their eyes stop for just a split second before they start going diagonally down to the left. And so that is a perfect spot to put a call to action. And you can see in this image, I've got that there's a white button there. It says CTA, which stands for call to action. And that is typically the main thing, the main goal of what you want your website to do. If you want them to schedule an appointment with you because you are a plumber, or if you want to schedule or get them to sign up for a free class, maybe if you have a yoga business or a gym or something else. The main offering that you have that you want them to use so that they can get to know your business. From there, they'll scroll down and to the left, and you can see that in this image. And a lot of times they'll go all the way to the bottom left of their screen and then immediately go along the bottom from left to right and make a Z sort of a pattern. And you can use that to your advantage and know that that's what they're going to do. And there's two things that you can do here. One is put that short attention-grabbing headline right there. People don't really read websites today. They skim them. So having something short, just a few words that helps them to understand what it is that you do, what problem you solve for them, is useful, because they'll see that and that will get them to stop if that's a problem that they have, if that's something that they're looking for. The other thing that you can do, and I've done in this image, is another button, and you see it there. It says repeat CTA, repeat the call to action. So the exact same call to action that you just had, you show it again and invite them to do it, to take that same action. A lot of times, people who are visiting a website for the first time or even second or third time aren't going to take the action you want them to take, but being invited to take that action multiple times will help them to move in that direction and take that action. So repeating it a second time is a second invite, and it's a good idea and a good tactic. And then they'll start going down the page and they'll start scrolling, and that's where you want to start including the content of your website. And I'll have other videos that talk about what to do with that content. But that's really the basic layout. It's not complicated, but it's very easy to miss certain things. So I want to show you two different websites. And what I've done is both of these websites are for tours or attractions. So they're in the tourism niche. One of them is for an Alaskan tour company. The other one is a haunted tour company in New Orleans. And the way I found them was I Googled Alaskan tour companies and New Orleans ghost tour companies, and those were the first two companies that popped up. So these are businesses that are doing well. They're doing well enough that organically they're ranking at the top of Google search results. And so they know what they're doing. So let's start by taking a look at this Alaskan tour company. Now, this website looks a little dated to me. It looks like they may have built it several years ago, and it could definitely use a refresh. You'll notice that going from left to right, they do have different things here, but there's no clear call to action. Contact us is in that spot that would be the step you want to take, and that probably is what they want people to do most frequently is contact them. And so that's good. But it doesn't jump out at you unless you're hovering over it. They could consider adding a button there, but this green and white fade out isn't too bad. They also didn't put their logo in the left, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Like I said, it's not a hard and fast rule that you have to do this. They put their logo in the center right here, and that today is different enough that might be a good idea. However, if you notice, it kind of blends in with that image there. It doesn't stick out. It's not very noticeable. And so someone might arrive here and think, am I on the right page? Am I where I want to be? Because it's not instantly recognizable that they're at an Alaskan tour guide place. Now, as you scroll down, you notice there's not a really strong call to action anywhere. You've got their email address, you've got their phone number, but it's just there. It's not saying call us or contact us. And as you scroll further down, you'll run into a lot of text. And it's common to do this. You want to explain what you do, so you do that through text. But like I said earlier, people don't really read web pages today. They skim them. And when you've got that much text like you see right here, that's not really skimmable. So some people are going to read that, but most people are probably just going to skip on through that. So anything that's valuable in there that might help them to make a decision is not necessarily going to get read or seen by them. I did want to also point out that here at the very bottom of the page, they've got a call to action. This, I think, is a really good, strong call to action. Plan your Alaska adventure today. If I'm shopping and getting ready to go to Alaska, that's something that I'd be interested in. The problem is where they put it. It's down at the bottom of their web page. They would be much better off putting this up at the very top here to the right and making it a different color. This blue that they're using doesn't really jump out at you. I would use something, maybe this green itself is a good color that kind of grabs your attention. So they're doing some things right, but they could definitely use a refresh, and they could probably get a little bit more business if they had a well-designed website that was helping their customers find what they want and take the action that they need to take on their website. Now, this next one is the New Orleans Ghost Tour Company. They've got their logo in the left, as you can see, and they're using black and red, which those are two colors that go fairly well when you think of something scary or haunted houses or that sort of thing. As you scroll across to the right, you see their phone number here. It's big, it's easy to see, and I don't know if this is showing up in this video, but when I hover over it, my mouse pointer changes from the typical arrow to the hand that indicates it's a link. That's a really good thing for a mobile phone, because then you could just tap on that and it would immediately open up your phone dialer with phone number there, and you just connect the call and you can talk to them. It would be, to make this a little bit better and more friendly for a laptop, it would be better if that was not a mobile link. And there are ways to design that to do both things depending on what you want to do. The other thing I notice is they've got this click to call image here. But to be honest, the first time that I looked at this, I didn't even notice this click to call. I saw a phone number and didn't pay much attention to it. I think they'd be better off with this click to call over here on the right and possibly have it red or some other color that really is noticeable, so that it's very obvious what you want them to do, what you want the visitors to do, and call and schedule something or call and talk with them about the different services that they offer. Now, another different thing that they've done, and I actually kind of like this because it is changing things up, is instead of having a headline right here in the middle, they put it down at the bottom. The problem is it's not responsive enough, so it's not moving the text up and down based on the size of the screen. So on my screen, which is a laptop screen, it's a little bit smaller, it's cutting it off, and I can tell it says these are the tours you've heard about, but I can't see all of it, and a smaller screen might be cut off almost completely. So it'd be better if that was responsive and could move up and down so that you could see everything. And what they're relying on is people to do the full Z pattern. Now, there's one other thing I want to point out about this. These are the tours you've heard about. my first visit to this website, I had never heard of any of these tours. And so a first-time visitor might have one of two different reactions to that statement. One, they might say, no, I haven't heard about those tours, and that might cause them to lose interest because they're being almost excluded because they're not in the know. The second option is they will say, everyone else has heard about these apparently, but not me. I don't want to miss out on this. And that fear of missing out, or FOMO, kicks in. And suddenly they now want to know and want to learn more about these so that they can be part of that in-group that knows about these tours. They may or may not have split tested that. If so, hopefully this is the right thing to go with. But that's something to consider when you're working on your wording or your copy, is how are people going to respond, or what are possible responses. Now, the other thing for people who have visited before, for return customers, they'll look at this and say, yeah, these are the tours I've heard about. I've been on some of them. I know about them. And so it actually creates a feeling of exclusivity, which is a good thing. It'll help them feel like a desire to go and go on more tours. So as long as it's thought out and tested, this could be very effective, but they could be losing some new customers as well. And the only way to know that would be testing it and watching, using some different tools and utilities that I won't go into today, but they do exist. So those are some of the things that you should consider and things that you can work into your website. None of the changes that I talked about are particularly difficult to make to those two websites. They can be done fairly quickly by a good web developer, and they can be tested to see how they're working. Another thing to always keep in mind with your website is it's never truly finished. You're always doing something to improve it. You're always testing things to see what works and what doesn't work. I hope that this information was useful to you. If you've got any questions, I'd love to hear what they are. Please go ahead and leave a comment below, and we can talk and I can answer those questions. Have a great day.